Hey, what's going on internet? Josh Noel from SonduckFilm. So today I think I have a great tutorial. We will be doing a freeze frame, an epic freeze frame that is, and I'll be showing you guys how to create these splatter images and how to animate this and really be, I guess, cool with this. So you shot some good footage and your mom and dad like it, but your girlfriend not so much. So you might want to add a freeze frame for some pre-credits to kind of spice things up. Or if you're a really creative filmmaker, you might be able to incorporate this sort of style somewhere in your film. So I think it's really awesome, and hopefully we can learn a few things from this tutorial. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and create a new composition, and we'll call this one Tut. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my footage, which is a little bit too big, so I'm just going to go ahead and just scale that down. So basically what we want to do is we want to go to a time where we want to have this freeze frame. So maybe like right here should be good. So it's not a long clip, but obviously it's just a tutorial, so I'm not really concerned about the length of the clip. We obviously get the idea. So what I'll do is go up to Edit, Split Layer, and that's going to split our video. And what I'm going to do now is basically take our top video here and duplicate it, or go up to Edit, Duplicate. And what I'm going to do is select the middle layer here, right click it, and go to Time Freeze Frame. So now we have a complete freeze frame. Move this video over, and as you see, nothing is moving like our video here. It's just the middle clip is completely freeze framed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag this out to like maybe 3 seconds here. And we're going to go here and just move out our video. So basically we have the beginning of our video, freeze frame for about 2 seconds, and then the video continues to roll on. Of course, you might want this to be 4 seconds. I only have it for 2 seconds because, I want to keep my rendering time down low because it's just a tutorial and make things easy for me. So just keep that in mind when you do your own looks. So let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. And you can do that by going up to Edit, Duplicate. So basically what I want to do is cut our talent out from the background here. So what I'll do is make sure I'm on the first frame of this layer, and I'm going to go to the Rotobrush Tool right here. And basically I'm going to double click our clip, and I'm going to go here and I'm going to start painting over our talent. And if you don't see the brush window, which is right here, go up to Window, Brushes, and let's go ahead and change the diameter. So make this a little bit bigger, the brush. And I'm using a hardness of 0%, and that should be fine for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just paint over our talent here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but just go ahead and let the rotor brush do the rest. And this looks pretty good. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make the brush a little bit smaller, maybe go down to like 20 pixels or so. And it doesn't have to be perfect for what we're trying to do since it is a still frame. But, doesn't hurt to be pretty close. So I think this is pretty good. So what we need to do is kind of stretch this out all the way to the end of our clip over here. And this will kind of just analyze to our playhead. Or we can go ahead and hit the freeze button. I'm just going to go ahead and let this analyze since it's almost done anyway. So this will basically just say, hey, every frame of this clip needs to have this sort of mask on it. So pretty cool. And as you see, it's done and nothing changes, so it's pretty good, and it's a little bit quicker than actually than masking. So let's go ahead and go back to our composition here, and let me close this up. And if we hit S on our keyboard for scale, and you see she's completely cut out from the background, it looks pretty cool. So what we can do is go to the Pan Behind tool and move the anchor point to like the bottom of the clip here. So everything will animate around this point now. And I'll go to the beginning, and I'll also hit hold down Shift and hit P on my keyboard to bring up position. And I'll click both the stopwatches and move forward in time. And we'll go ahead and scale her up by a little bit. 93% is good, and then maybe move her down by a touch. So now she'll kind of be coming right at us, and that's pretty cool. And maybe we'll go ahead and maybe set it to 95%. Okay, and what I'll do is then I'll copy these keyframes, go to the end over here, paste them, right-click the keyframes, go to Keyframe Assistance, and click on Time Reverse Keyframes, and we'll move that to the end here. And what else I like to do is select both of the both of the sets of the inner keyframes, and hit F9 on my keyboard for easy as, and that will kind of like slow down the animation as it comes towards an end. So it's looking pretty cool. I like it a lot. So now what we can do is maybe start adding some effects and being really creative with this. So what I'm going to do is maybe go up to Layer, New Adjustment Layer. And I'm going to go ahead and put that underneath our, our original image, our original still frame here. And we'll go ahead and cut this up, making sure everything's going to, stay consistent with what we're doing here. And we'll make sure this adjustment layer is selected and go up to Effect, Color Correction, maybe Tint. And we can change the color of the background to like maybe a blue color. We can change it to whatever color you want. I don't really care. And go to maybe Effect, Stylized Cartoon. And we can kind of create like a nice little cartoon effect. Maybe I can go ahead and increase the width and the threshold of the edge just by a little bit so we can start seeing the edges a touch, and maybe make them a little bit bigger, increase the threshold a little bit more. Okay. That's looking pretty interesting. And then what else? Maybe I can just go to the project here and I can maybe drag in this texture and maybe we'll put it on top there. And maybe we'll set this, go to toggle switches and modes and set this to like maybe hard light. And we'll hit T on our keyboard for opacity and maybe we'll set this to 25%. And it'll kind of just be very subtle in there and kind of just go ahead and square all this up, making sure it's only going to be seen when with all of our animation and stuff. So trim the in and out points. So it's looking pretty good. The background's looking cool. Maybe what I can do now is select our video layer here, or basically our cutout. Go to Effect, maybe Stylized Cartoon, and maybe once again we'll bring up the width and the threshold by a little bit, and maybe not so much. Make sure to look really angry. Well, actually, she is angry, but. Let's go up to Effect, Color Correction, Tritone. And I really like this effect over Tint, just because you get a little bit more options. So what I'm going to do, maybe set the highlights to something that's kind of a light color. Maybe to like that aqua color. And then for midtones, maybe set it to like, an orange sort of color like that. And then for the shadows, maybe go back to like the blues or something and make it like a dark blue. I don't know, guys. I really like it. Increase the blend with the original. Maybe to about 60%. So, kind of looks cool. And then what maybe I'll do is go to Effect, Color Correction, Curves. And since, these effects kind of darkened our image by a little bit, maybe I'll go ahead and increase the, the levels by a little bit here and make things a little bit brighter. Maybe, ooh, that's a little too much. Maybe go to the red channel. And then we'll kind of bring this down a little bit, the blues, or shall I say the reds, to make them look a little bit more blue. And it looks pretty interesting. Maybe I'll create this as an S curve like that. I'm going to leave it at that. So maybe what I can do is go to the adjustment layer here and also add, the curves effect, so I can kind of brighten up the background just by a little bit. All right, so pretty cool. So basically now what we should do is start animating these to come on. So like what I'll do is I'll hit T on my keyboard for the adjustment layer. Go to like, let's bring up the keyframes here. So let's go to like right here, click the stopwatch for opacity, go to the beginning, set the opacity to 0%. So these effects will kind of just like come on like this. And then of course, copy the keyframes, paste them, right click, keyframe assistance, time reverse keyframes, and then move those to the end. So looking pretty good. And then over here, we kind of need to do this manually. So let me close this up. And this is our, let me go ahead and call this talent layer, so we don't get things confused. And I'll go ahead and open up the effects panel here, and I'll have to go into each effect. So maybe go to the cartoon effect and go to compositing options, and where it says effect opacity, click the stopwatch, and let's move to the beginning, and let's go ahead and set that to 0%. So now this will kind of animate on, and do it for the tritone. Move that forward, 0%, and also the curves. Effect opacity, move that forward, and 0%. So let's go ahead and make sure all these keyframes are completely lined up like that. All right, awesome. And let me go ahead and select these keyframes, copy them, and we'll go over here, paste them, and we'll go ahead and reverse these keyframes, so time reverse. So everything will kind of animate off and look pretty awesome. So I think it's looking pretty good. This is a good start. Okay, so I have some splatter images already here in After Effects, and I'm going to show you quickly how I came about of creating these splatter images. So what I did was I went into Photoshop, and before I did anything, I went to Google and searched up splatter brushes, and then I went ahead and created a new canvas here and made it like much bigger than our actual After Effects composition, so 4000 by 2000 Photoshop document. And imported some of the brushes that I found online, and they're free. Of course, remember you can download these project files in the description. And what I did was I would select a nice, splatter here, and adjust the size, and just go ahead and click it in there, and boom, and then I would have a splatter image. Of course, that did that on a separate layer, so I'm going to delete that, and boom. And then what I did was I went up to File, Export, and save for web, and then I would just save it as a PNG 24. So, and then I would just be able to bring that into After Effects. So that's how I went ahead and did these splatter brushes. Downloaded them off of Google, or did a Google search and downloaded them, and then basically paste them in here and exported them as PNG layers. So that's how you do that. But of course, remember, you can download this stuff in the description, not the brushes, but my images. You can download it in the description of the video. So what we'll do now, since we have our images, basically we'll go here and we'll go ahead and start dragging in these splatter images. So maybe what I'll do is I'll move this one to the corner over here. Let me go ahead and maybe put the quality to 3rd. And guys, let me also, for rendering sakes, let me go ahead and just turn off the cartoon effect for everything, and I'll turn it back on when we're done. But I don't want to have too slow of a computer when I'm doing this recording. So what I'll do is go up to Effect, Color Correction, Tint, and that's on the splatter image. I'm gonna go ahead and where it says Map Black to, I'm gonna go ahead and change that to like maybe green. So maybe what I'll do is and I'll rotate our splatter, move this right here, and maybe keep it like that. Who knows? And then what we'll do is maybe go ahead and start bringing in some other splatter images. This one's black, so I don't know, maybe we'll put it right here or something like that. Who knows? And then, of course, maybe go back to Tint, and we'll go ahead and set it to white or something. Who knows? And then go to another PNG layer. Maybe we'll put it underneath our talent layer here, and maybe we'll scale it down. And maybe we'll put it behind our actors. Actually, let's go ahead and maybe put this one over here. I like this one. Let's go ahead and put it on the top, and we'll rotate this, and we'll move this right here. I like that one. All right, and maybe we'll just keep it out black, and then we'll go ahead and bring in another splattered image, and I'll go ahead and put this one underneath our talent, and this one I'll definitely put behind our talent for sure, and go to Effect, Color Correction, Tint. And maybe we'll make this one white as well. So it's looking pretty good. And then, we'll go ahead and continue to bring these splatter images into After Effects here, and continue to position them, figuring out what's best, and just having fun with it. Go maybe put this one right here. Maybe we'll rotate it. Boom. So we can actually see those splatters. And go to Effect, Color Correction, Tint. Maybe I'll set it to like red color, maybe pink. I don't know. Keep it at that. Who cares? All right. So let's just say this is enough of splatter images. You of course can add more. You can add less. It doesn't matter. This might be a little bit messy, but we'll leave it at this because I don't want to go ahead and do way too much for a tutorial like this. Of course, you guys get the idea. So let's go ahead and maybe go ahead and trim everything up here. So it's only going to take place during our freeze frame. Go back here. I'm going to select all these layers, and I'm going to split them. Boom. Okay. So now we need to animate all these splatter images to come in. So we'll start with one at a time. Go to 5 here. Maybe I'll solo it, and go to the beginning and move the anchor point to the bottom here. So I'll go ahead and S on my keyboard for scale and hold down Shift and hit P to bring up position. Click the stopwatch for scale and position. Move these forward in time, and maybe I'll kind of like move this back a little bit, scale it inward. So we'll have like that. and then move on to the fourth splatter, which is right here, and maybe move forward here, and then once again scale and position, click the stopwatch, move it forward, and we'll just kind of repeat this repetitive process. Okay, so I hope you guys didn't mind, but I went ahead and animated everything else. So what I'll do now is copy each of these keyframes one at a time and just paste them at the end. Okay, and then go ahead and select all the keyframes that we just created here. Right click, keyframe assistance, time reverse keyframes, and kind of move these to the end here. And then select all the inward keyframes and F9 for easy as. And what we can do is maybe offset some of these by a little bit so they don't all come on at the same time. So just a little bit of variation could be a little bit cool. And then maybe we can move some of these over, some of the out keyframes, just to create a little bit of variation. It doesn't really matter too much, but you know, I think it looks cool. Looks like we put a little bit of work into this project. All right, so now that we have that, what else is next? Okay, and then if we want to go ahead and maybe add, you know, like a lower third, you know, add like a title graphic. What I created basically, well, I basically found a brush that, you know, had this little splatter art to it. So I did the same exact thing. I just went into Photoshop and did a brush. So always look for different kind of brushes to work with. So what I can do is, well, I don't want to have this come on right here because you definitely want to have, I definitely want to have the text on the lower third here, but I don't want this to chop or chin. And definitely as a filmmaking rule, that's not really good. So what I'll do is go to layer, transform, flip horizontal, and we can kind of put this over here. And maybe I'll do is go to effect, color correction, tint. I'll go set matte to black to like a pink color, something like that, something hot. And go ahead and go to like the text title tool, and we can come here and type in, you know, a SonduckFilm, or maybe the name of your actress. It doesn't really matter, but it's up to you. And don't want to do that. And I'll kind of move this right here. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and like pre-compose this by going to layer, pre-compose with both layers selected. And I'll call this one lower third, and that's good. And what we can do is to kind of maybe move this forward here to the beginning of our animation. And we'll kind of just, you know, cut that. And then let's go to effect, transition, linear wipe. And let's go ahead and set the angle wipe to -90. And let's increase the feather to like 30. And then let's kind of go to the beginning here. Click the stopwatch for transition completion. Hit U on our keyboard to bring up the keyframe. Move that forward in time. And set this to 100%. So now this will kind of come on like this. Maybe I'll drag it out a little bit further. And we'll copy the keyframes, paste, and you know, of course reverse them. So once again, we're kind of sticking the same thing, but that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and create some camera animation. So let's go up to layer, new, null object. And let's go ahead and make sure all of our layers in the middle are selected and parent that to the null object. Okay, and let's go to the beginning here, and let's see what we can do is maybe hit R on our keyboard for rotation, S for scale, and maybe P for position. And let's go ahead and kind of click those keyframes, and let's kind of move, let's leave it there, move forward in time, and let's maybe rotate this by a little bit, maybe like that, and maybe we'll scale in, maybe, you know, position this down by a little bit. So now, boom, we have something like that. And let's go ahead and move these keyframes like all the way to like the end here. So we'll kind of have this consistent animation. And maybe what I can do is move this lower third up. Maybe I'll kind of go into this comp real fast and make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so it looks pretty good. And then what I'll do at the end here is copy the beginning keyframes, paste them. So everything will kind of just go back to normal. Maybe make the last keyframes easy as keyframes, and everything will kind of roll back together and look pretty good. And then let's go ahead and turn back on our cartoon effect. All right, looking really good. And then, of course, remember to turn on the motion blur for everything, and there it is. So that's how I went ahead and created this animation. So I think it's really cool. If you guys have any questions, please drop a comment down below or hit me up on my social media networks. Those links are in the description of this video. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more awesome After Effects tutorials just like this. And if this video has been helpful, guys, please drop a like. It helps me out tremendously in return. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you soon.